Hey, welcome back to Two Super Guys Trade Stocks. I'm Dylan.
And I'm Vinny.
And I'm going to make a fairly bold call here. I think that there's a massive paradigm shift in AI stocks that people are not fully appreciating. I think NVIDIA is going to be slightly screwed here for a little bit, not because of what Michael Burry said. I'm not copying him. But I think NVIDIA is going to go down-ish, and Google is going to be the new top dog. I'm going to talk about exactly why. Some stuff just came out in the last couple of days that I don't think the market has truly corrected for. But this is, in my opinion, pretty huge. And I'm going to explain it. I hope everyone in the comments tries to, obviously respectfully say why I'm wrong, because then it'll save me money. Full disclosure, I sold the vast majority of my AMD and NVIDIA after this last week.
Okay. Wow.
So I still have like 100 shares of AMD and like 30 shares of NVIDIA. I did not think I was going to do that, but when I looked at what happened, this is not good. Not good in the long run.
Okay.
So Google stock, killing it. Obviously, this is just a really cool hike up a mountain. That's exactly what you want in a stock chart. It's great. 320 right now. Beautiful.
I remember buying shares of Google not that long ago for like 100.
Yeah, I did a whole thing on when it hit 165 to please buy more. I got
Yeah.
some hate comments on that one. That was good. NVIDIA, we have fallen below this 100-day moving average. Never a good sign. I did say earlier that I think that we're going to hit this 200 moving average. I still think that we will. That is 150-ish for anyone looking. The Qs, man, look at that volume drop off. Never a good sign, if you're wondering.
It's behind you.
Oh, yeah, that's important. That's important.
Oh yeah. It's stair stepping down as the
It's
stock index goes up.
stair stepping down as the index goes up is a horrible, horrible sign. Now, with that being said, it was Black Friday and Thanksgiving. You do traditionally have a drop off, but this is never a good sign. It's a worse sign if it wasn't a holiday, but is what it is for now. Now let's get to what's actually happening. I just want to give some background here. NVIDIA had their earnings. They made a butt ton of money. Not saying they didn't, okay? Their concentration risk is the thing everyone talks about. So 4 customers were responsible for, what is this? 61? 61%-ish?
I'm math right now.
Yeah, I think so. So basically, customer A, 22%, customer B, 15%, customer C, 13%, customer D, 11%. The customers we do not know, but it's most likely Microsoft, Google, Meta, XAI, Oracle, OpenAI. Four of those 6 are in those 4. And these are just the ones that are over 10%. So I think there's a 9% that just didn't make this cut because it's not as sexy as over 10%.
Wow.
Okay. So real quick, there is a huge difference between training and inference for AI. Are you familiar with these terms?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Training typically involves like the cutting edge GPUs, and it's really significant task, like heavy, whereas like inference is a little bit lighter. It's more users making queries and using the models.
Yeah. So basically, I asked ChatGPT, hey, layman's terms, and it's basically thousands of GPUs for training working together, weeks or months, enormous cooling, tons of power draw. The example for this one that they gave was ChatGPT types of models use tens of thousands of GPUs during training. And then for inference, once it's trained, it's now just searching for an answer, essentially. ChatGPT answers your question using a tiny fraction of 1 GPU. Okay?
Yeah.
So big difference between training and inference. Now, Google released its 7th generation TPU. This is essentially a application specific chip that they've been developing for over a decade, which people do not realize. And they just released their new one. It's 4 times less cost than traditional GPUs right now. And it's also, unfortunately for NVIDIA, incredibly effective. Now, usually these TPUs would only, and I repeat, only be used for inference. Okay? No longer the case. This is the problem. NVIDIA has a chokehold. They have the best GPU. It's not even close, right? But TPUs, and I'm going to get into why you can't just replace a TPU with a GPU. There's a bunch of coding problems. I get it for anyone who's already typing. Google was the first big tech company to make an application-specific chip for AI back in 2015. They would have done it way before that in 2006, but in 2013 they were like, AI is going to be pretty huge. Okay, so they've been perfecting this for a long time. This is not new. This is not like other companies where they're like, we're going to start kind of designing our own chips. This takes years to kind of perfect here. Okay, now Anthropic, which is a very popular LLM or AI company, has previously said we're going to expand to our usage of using Google's TPUs. This is on their site. This was one of their press releases. But they serve a bunch of people. You don't have to read this whole thing. But basically, hey, we have a relationship with Google. We're going to start using up to 1 million TPUs to really decrease, strong price performance efficacy. It seems to have TPUs for several years. So it's decreasing the cost significantly. Okay? Which you would expect that. So the problem that NVIDIA has is you buy NVIDIA chips to train, and then you don't use them anymore. And then you use something else for inference. That has already been kind of expected because of the power draw for a GPU versus a TPU. But what happens when the price is just so much better? And we have, as you saw from the Alibaba video recently, Alibaba's using chips that are, a generation old, and it's still working. Right? Now, what happens when you have this cost? Look at this cost, Vinny. All right? So you have 70% margin. Then you have your manufacturing, and then this is your TPU. Significantly lower in cost. It's not even close. Are you muted because of a crying baby, aren't you?
No, it's barking dogs. But yeah,
okay.
Fantastic news. I mean, I absolutely love it though. Like as a Google shareholder, and by the way, someone called me out in my last video about Buffett buying Google. I mean, not him, but Berkshire Hathaway bought it, so I'll count that as a win.
That's in here too.
Okay, I love
now,
it.
Here's the huge news that people have not digested yet. Meta, who is most likely one of Google, by the way, are also using NVIDIA. Google and Meta are most likely two of those four giant customers for NVIDIA. If not, they're right below the 10%. Okay. Meta is now in talks with Google to both rent and purchase TPUs for renting as early as 2026, which is what most people do, and then purchasing for long-term plans in 2027. Now, the reason why this is huge is because previously, people didn't really think that you would purchase TPUs. You would more rent them from Google's cloud infrastructure. The reason is it's not like NVIDIA where you can just replace the GPU, plug in a different one, and do a couple of software updates. The coding, like around the CUDA cores, everything is completely different. Like if you go on Reddit, there's a whole thread on people talking about this announcement of the amount of engineers that Meta must have on standby to make this work for coding reasons alone is going to be absolutely enormous. But if you're willing to save 400% in power consumption and cost, maybe it's worth it.
Yeah.
This is a big deal.
I agree.
Now, talks involve Meta renting chips from Google Cloud as early as next year and then buying them for later. Okay. I want to show this concentration risk again because there's a strong possibility NVIDIA over the course of the next 2 years is going to lose a minimum of 10% from these categories. If the Meta purchase of Google TPUs actually goes through, I don't think I can see a world where we're constantly developing new AI models over and over and over and over and over. I think that they will continuously upgrade, but in this gold mine rush, I don't think there's going to be 100 billion in GPU sales every single year. I think right now, and maybe for the next couple of years, yes, but I don't think down the road. And unfortunately, if you have people starting to purchase TPUs and use them to train, not just inference, that is a huge problem because you just had the king on the hill essentially just get cut at the knees with a cheaper chip that they are offering to integrate fully. So not good. And as to what you just said, Vinny. Yeah. Vinny did make a video on this about 8 months ago, and it did come true. I don't think that this is like a huge good news thing for the stock. Is it cool? Sure. But he spent 5 billion. He has like 350, whatever it is. He clearly doesn't think it's super great, but whatever. Now, for the people that are saying, wait a minute, Dylan, you forgot about the Middle East. Okay? There's a huge thing with NVIDIA is going to make a ton of money on the Middle East selling chips to Saudi Arabia, that kind of stuff. Okay? And it's true. They probably will. Now, what people are forgetting is everything has to go through the president of the United States when you're selling to Middle East companies. So you keep on seeing this number, yearly 15 billion a year in revenue to the UAE. This is theoretical. This has not happened. It is up to, again, licenses extended the potential annual cap of up to 500,000 ships, not it will be 500,000 ships a year. Depending on the continuation of the deal, there's absolutely no commitment or sales for this right now. It's being talked about. That's awesome. It could be huge, but people are just automatically jumping to they will do 500,000 ships every single year forever now. Not what that means at all.
Yes, totally.
And then this company and the UAE bought 35K chips worth $1 billion. It's been approved. I'm not saying $1 billion is not a lot of money, but when you're a $5 trillion company, $1 billion does not necessarily move the mark a lot, especially when you could have just lost 20% of your customers.
Interesting. Okay.
Throwing that out there.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're going to buy all those ships right after they finish the wall, which they just canceled. Saudi Arabia.
There you go. Yeah. I don't like, remember guys, Saudi, they also have they have their fund, which buys a lot of things. Like, look at Lucid. It's still a shitty company. It's an awesome car, bad company. Here's the actual Commerce Department details on how there's security concerns, whatever. I just wanted to show some proof. And then Google has another advantage that no one's talking about. It is the only full stack AI company right now, meaning it designs its own TPUs. It could, if it wanted, not buy an NVIDIA chip again. It won't do that because as of right now, you still have a lot of servers that are reliant on GPUs with the whole code thing, but they could. They control their own data centers, meaning they build and own all the physical structures, so fiber, network, switching, power systems, cooling, yada, yada, yada. Google owns the core AI frameworks, so TensorFlow, JAX, XLA compiler, Cooper, Beats, I pronounced that wrong, whatever. And then they also have Gemini VO3. And then on top of that, they don't have to data mine or do anything to get their stuff. They have Google search and YouTube. They have everything. They're positioning themselves to be the absolute AI king. And I didn't put this in here, but there's like a leaked thing going around of Sam Altman addressing the concerns after Gemini 3 just dropped. And he's like, all right, so they did a little bit better than we thought. And we might have some rough times up ahead. Right? Now remember, this is a guy who needs billions and billions of dollars to continuously be invested, where Google just paid for it themselves and still make a bunch of billions of dollars a year. No problem. Doesn't even faze them. They're screwed.
Yeah. Oh, man. You know what this is? Yeah. What I've learned so far in this video, Dylan, is that shit, I should have bought more Google stock.
Yeah, no, me too. That's my main takeaway here is that Google, I wish I had more. If there is a drawdown in the market at all, my number one and number two purchases are Google and Meta right away. And then I do think, I've already called this, but I do think NVIDIA is going to hit that 200 moving average like within 6 months or so. I think that this hasn't been digested yet because it's been a holiday weekend and stuff, but this is huge. The fact that TPUs not just being used for inference, but training, and not just by Google, because that's what it was made for, but now Meta's like, I'll do the work to recode everything. Give me your TPUs. That's terrifying. That is so bad for NVIDIA. Not good.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be, there's probably a world where they could both exist, but it's just.
Oh, I agree.
You're not going to get those 70% margins in that world, though. So
cannot.
Yeah.
Right now, they can charge out the ass for their chips. That's why they have a 70% margin. You cannot if you have Anthropic, Meta, that's just for now. What if Amazon goes? They're also developing their own chip, but it's very far behind. But as soon as those companies start going to Google, they're like, well, yours is really good. I would like to save 400% on my bottom line. That sounds good. Can I have yours?
Yeah. I know. That's phenomenal news. Like I said, man, this is like, I can't begin to tell you the optionality now for Google. It's insane, like what their future could look like.
Yeah, it's going to be wild. It's going to be crazy. Let us know what you guys think, and try not to rip me apart in the comments. Too bad. Sorry,
Yeah.
no video, guys. All right.
Catch you next one.
Bye.